All right, guys, we made an exception today, even though our guest has not won a millymaker. That's normally our threshold for bringing guests on. We have made an exception for Adam Levitan from Establish the Run. They just launched their golf product, and we are going to talk Masters today, DFS, best bets, and maybe where Adam stands on the should grown men wear jersey debate, all on today's episode of Lulz.
Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a go. Vegas Dave thinks this is a go.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no, and let the DFS cats pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us.
Adam Levitan, somehow your first appearance on Lulz. How honored do you feel?
I love Lulz, man. I listen to Lulz when I can for my libertarian takes and my crypto hardo takes. So yeah, I'm a fan. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we talked to Rufus a few weeks back. That was before you guys had announced the golf product. Although Brian and I were way ahead of you last Wednesday. I had no inside information. I wasn't asking Leone or anything, but we saw the Rufus and Pete Jennings golf thing from a mile away.
Yeah, I mean, to get Rufus to do this, we had to hold him down and water torture him. But besides that, yeah, it's good. I mean, I've been like I was working with Rufus on golf, just betting his stuff back in Philly. And like I just like to follow golf now. Like it's crazy. I'm like intensely follow golf ever since then. And so, we've thought about other sports, and I'm just like, if I can't like I can't get my dick to like even like 2.9 inches for baseball. Or like, so like, but for golf, I was actually excited to do it. And I really, really do like it. And I think it's really fun. And the fact that it's once a week, I think like people are growing up, like our generation is growing up. And so I do this full time, and I don't really have time to grind baseball every day, So like to ask people to do that, I think is a lot. Golf once a week, and it's a good sweat. I just think it makes sense.
Yeah, that reminds me, Brian, did you see Ricky D's tweet yesterday? It's something along the lines of, I don't know how, or it was something along the lines of, it's impossible to just jump in and play NBA DFS for a single night, like casually. It's like you have to be within the rhythms of the season to have any chance of succeeding.
Yeah, if you're obsessed with getting your money in decent, yeah.
Right.
But if you don't give a shit, you can play anything you want, right? I mean, we've all degen, right? The I was saying last week too, like hopefully ETR doesn't get any subs on this because it's going to hurt my bottom line with Rufus. But I have a feeling Rufus might make more on this deal than unabated.
Yeah, no, it's shout out to unabated, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like outrageously popular, the golf thing, but it's not like football or anything. But I just think it's fun, so I'm excited about it.
Did you guys get pushback on the price point, just because it is a bigger price point than some of the other ETR offerings?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people for sure, but when inflation, as Brian can talk about, is at 30%, that trickles down to the customer, So no, one thing about golf is it's every week. They take like 3 weeks off. Like these guys are sick. Like they take 3 weeks off for the entire year. And so it's different than every other sport, which is, football is really only 4 months, So based on that, I think that the price is definitely fair.
Yeah. Casey wants to know if Leone and Rufus have talked yet, and are you worried the spreadsheet talk will be too much, or do you just keep all the virgins sequestered into a single room?
Yeah, they have their own chat where they talk about virgin stuff. I actually think the Rufus Dink connection is the strongest, because they're both like going through like a whole spiritual thing, and like I mean seriously, like that's the real connection for sure.
Really? Are they taking time out of the day for group meditation sessions, a little yoga?
I honestly think I think they've been on multiple mandates in New York. Before Rufus left New York, I think they've been on multiple mandates. So yeah.
Every time I listen to, I'll listen to him on Bet the Process. He's like driving across the country. He came on Lulz a few weeks ago. He's in some Montana cabin. I mean, I'm accustomed to this kind of behavior from the rich poker players, but from Rufus, I just never would have known.
Yeah, man. Find yourself, Pete. Evolve. Get enlightened. Jesus fucking Christ.
I've been adding a regular morning yoga practice to my routine. So I'm on my own journey right now to open up my hip flexors, essentially.
Pete, you got to gamble for a living for like 12 years, and you'd be taking these meditation retreats.
So we are here to talk about Masters. Adam, you guys had your show a few hours ago. You feel like you got some takes loaded into the chamber here?
Yeah, I mean, I fired off I'm like too afraid to give my Tiger Woods take on Twitter because of like all the Tiger Woods fanboys are gonna blow back on me. But I gave my Tiger Woods take, and yeah, I mean, the Masters is not my favorite event for DFS by any stretch because the field is so small. There's like 10 to 15 guys who are drawing dead. So many guys make the cut. It's just more of a crapshoot. I think in these full field stuff, we'll have a way bigger edge, but obviously the Masters is a lot of fun. So yeah.
Wait, so I assume the Tiger Woods take, isn't it always the same? He's over-owned relative to his projection. So you can't play him.
No. That's not my Tiger. Obviously, he's a terrible play in DFS. That goes without saying. The take is that the way the media covers this guy, his first comeback was from fucking girls in Vegas. What a hero. Oh, he was cheating on his wife and and now he's back. Oh, what a legend Tiger is. He's back. And then the second comeback, he got so hammered and fucked up. And I get it. He has a problem, whatever. He got so hammered and fucked up. He drove 90 miles an hour off the road. He could have killed someone. He's back. What a hero. The guy should be in motherfucking jail. Okay. So anyways, I want to get that off my chest. But yeah, generally, I don't have a problem with Tiger. I just hate the way the media covers him. He's obviously one of the best athletes like in the history of sports. So yeah, that's just my take.
My mom watches this show, and I know she's gonna say that Adam guy, he's really sharp because you just had the exact take she gives me every time Tiger's on TV.
Does that mean Adam has boomer golf takes? Is that what you're saying, Brian?
Or he just doesn't like people who cheat on their wives, I guess. I don't know.
It's not, yeah. I cheat, fuck girls, whatever. If you want to give it, like, I have a problem with people like getting so fucked up and driving, but like, yeah, like let's not laud him as a hero. And I get he had the back surgery and everything, and that's a great comeback story, but still.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like I've heard a couple narratives that like, Tiger doesn't, mess around. He only enters this tournament because he knows he can win it. Is there any truth to these statements, or is he drawing dead to win this tournament?
So I was talking to Rufus yesterday, and I was like, hey, I think it'd be good if we like get some Tiger Woods numbers out there just as like a promotional thing. He's like, all right, I make Tiger 1,900 to 1 to win the tournament. I was like, oh, you mean 190 to 1? He was like, no, 1,900 to 1. And the market is at like 60 to 1 right now. So like, Rufus makes him 43.9% to make the cut. The market's around like 52 or 53%, So yeah, I mean, we're way lower on Tiger than the field. I did a radio show in DC, and the entire station, they were like, hey, Adam, the entire station just bet Tiger Woods to make the cut. That's a good bet, right? And I was like, oh boy, here we go.
I mean, Brian, I was checking you posted your ownership on bric75.com. You have him at 12.6. What do you guys have him at, Adam?
So in high stakes, which we don't do for high stakes, we do for the millymaker, DraftKings millymaker, we have him around 8%. I think in high stakes, he might be like 0.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, same with me. Large field projection there. 12 might be a touch high, but
the people that are just running straight off optos are not going to get any Tiger, I don't think. So it's just going to be people hand building, which might be like 8 to 12% of the field for sure.
Exactly. At least 5 in the millie. I mean,
yeah,
you would figure. Yeah.
So Adam, I mean, with golf, is your lineup building process the same as football? You're still tried and true a hand builder, or are you lustful for these optimizers?
No, I think MMEing in golf makes way more sense than football because like I actually think that like the edge and roster construction in football is like so much bigger. And I get so tilted by the optos if I can't get it to work right. In golf, I'm not worried about correlation. I'm not worried about all this other bullshit. It's just like, I'm Xing out guys that I think are overowned, and I'm making some small rules, like, min one guy under 10% projected ownership, and then letting it run a lot, I think makes a lot more sense than it does in football. I just hate in football doing the MME stuff because like I look at the teams that I get and I'm like, my God, I would never, ever fucking make this ever.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's so much easier to MME sports you don't know inside and out. I'm not saying
Yeah.
you don't know golf inside
No,
and
I
out, but
don't.
it's just like, you know, when we look at football lineups, it's just like, I can't play this. I can't fucking play Denzel Mims. Like, we just have such strong takes on every individual player. It's a little easier when I don't know all the, you know, fucking MMA guys to just be like, sure, I'll have 46% of that guy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
B Lusk asked a good question here. What is the bigger comeback story, Tiger's leg or Lemon? This is my exact point. Should we be like lauding me as some hero because I got a fucking vasectomy? You know
I don't
what
know.
mean?
It seems like you're taking lots of victory laps on it.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe if you came up with the projections, but Rufus did that. You know?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Is this your first DFS play post vasectomy? Is there a narrative here?
Oh god, I played the Valero last week, so this will be my second golf tournament without being able to while shooting blanks.
Okay, Brian, is there anything like macro stuff for this tournament that we have to worry about? Weather, anything like that?
Yeah, a little weather and a little injuries too. So like my rule of thumb for injuries is in golf is different than other sports. So like in football, there's no backup running back who's going to get 25 carries out of the blue. In PGA, right? There's no equivalent. In the NBA, right? Like there's no backup point guard who's going to like get 40 minutes like is happening every day now during tank season here. So like that doesn't happen in golf. It's not like because Rahm drops out that a 6,000 salary golfer is now all of a sudden going to project to, you know, have like 10% chance of winning the tournament.
Right.
So that like the differences are really small. So like if the point being, rule of thumb is if you know someone's kind of hurting, it's very easy to fade them for me. Comparatively to other sports. And so this week there's a decent amount of injuries. Like so Hideki, who I touted last week, but then I saw that and I tweeted out that he re-injured his back in the practice round and I completely faded him.
Brian, was that the moment you realized you've gone full tout when you felt like you had to offer a disclaimer on Twitter
This is
to
your
say
fault.
you said on the show?
This is your fucking fault. I never wanted to do any of that touting shit. So yeah, that's
my
exactly
fault. I don't control what comes out of your mouth.
So I'm doing it again this week. No, I'm fading Hideki. I'm just fading all these injury guys. Answer withdrew last week. Casey withdrew 2 weeks ago, and I'm just Xing them out.
Are you, Adam? Will you take that hard of stands on injury guys, or there more wiggle room for you?
So last week at Valero, I X'd out Bryson and Matsuyama, which was like a no-brainer decision because they were projected to be massively owned because like the field was so weak, they were going to be hugely owned. X them out was a no-brainer. But now, you know, guys like Paul Casey at 5%, I'm not even sure how hurt he is. The Bryson one scares me because he's like legit said he's only 80%. It's the hip. Hideki thing, he's withdrawn twice in the last like 4 weeks. That one scares me. Answer, I don't know what happened to Answer. I still haven't been able to find out what happened to Answer. I think that one's okay. I don't know. Like, I think at low ownership, I'm more willing to take chances. When Bryson and Hideki, like, I honestly don't know how I didn't win $1 million last week at Valero. I had the absolute stone nut player pool. I X'd out the right guys, and I still didn't win. I blame the fucking optimizers.
Hideki only came in at 11% last week too, so it's not like super high. If you have some process where it's, you know, this like a big simulation process and you're getting a ton of these guys over the field, then okay, I could see it. But a lot of times most people are just guessing.
Right.
And if you're just guessing, whatever the numbers are pretty sharp. So just like there's no reason to take that chance if you know he's injured. The Masters also has more it's like people are more aware of these injuries than in a Valero or something like that. And so there I would definitely in those tournaments way more consider fading because not everyone's paying attention as closely, especially in golf.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'd also say about the injury stuff is it's not like football. Like if Jonathan Taylor like plays through a hurt ankle, like he's like still so likely to be among the top scorers on the slate, right? Even if Hideki and Bryson were 100%, they were like so far from a lock to being the optimal anyway. So like you're unlikely to get burned by fading them, you know? Like even if Bryson and Hideki were 100%, I don't even think they'd be like one of our best plays. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So,
and I'm talking like too, like if, okay, so you like Trey Jones was starting for the Spurs lately and he's been like 70% on in these huge fields, right? Like you could like like, let's say you're just like thinking game theoretically wise, you're a hand builder. You're like, that's a lot of ownership. I could fade him, right? That's so much ownership, but it's really hard because he's so cheap and he's getting so many obvious touches and he's the ball handler. That never happens in golf, right? So it's like, even from like a game theory perspective, it's a lot harder. And so you add on that he's also injured. I don't know. I lean rule of thumb, but listen, I break this rule and I play some injured guys, but I'm just saying rule of thumb, if you're just on the fence of somebody and you can see, and ETR, I subscribe to their golf here. They got a golf injuries page too. So if you see their name on there, like, I would just fade them.
What about weather, Adam? Any stuff you guys are taking in consideration with that?
Yeah, we talked about that on the show. The thing about the Masters is normally in a golf tournament, guys tee off from the first hole and the 10th hole, and they kind of play like that. I believe in the Masters, Rufus was saying that everybody tees off on one and goes off. And so you can't think of it in waves as much. You just have to think of it as times. And like Rufus thought that as of now, like around where Justin Rose is teeing off is the best time now based on wind. But, a lot's going to change. And the forecast now is like the rain is supposed to stop early Thursday morning. It's possible they're wrong and the rain continues into the morning, which would be a little bit messy too. And so, yeah, I don't think there's a huge weather edge this week, but I think it's something to watch for sure.
All right, Adam, we're getting a few questions in here about cash games as far as PGA golf. Someone asked earlier if it's beatable. Joshua asking, is golf more of a cash sport than, I don't know, or than other sports? What's your take on PGA cash?
Yeah, I'm playing, but not to the same extent as NFL. I think the people's ability to make mistakes in golf is way harder than it is in NFL. Like, making a mistake in NFL cash, like if you're not playing like the running back, the 4K running back who's going to get 20 touches, like you're stone dead. It'd be hard for me to find a DFS golf cash lineup that's stone dead. So I'm playing, but I'm more focused on tournaments. I'm a tournament bro now anyways, man. Come on.
Yeah, I forgot to address you as King GPP, bro.
Yeah,
but
please.
That would only have been if you won at Valero that I would have addressed you as such. Brian, are you messing around with any cash?
Yeah, not on DraftKings or FanDuel though.
Yeah.
On a site that we shall not name. But the PGA is definitely a GPP sport to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's lining up to hand build a Tiger Woods lineup this week. I mean, they're
actually, that's not
that.
true. You can make a mistake in cash and golf. If you're playing Tiger Woods, go ahead and send me a game, or I have games posted. You're welcome to take them if you play Tiger Woods.
There you go. If you have Tiger Woods, please scoop me, bro.
Yeah.
All right. There was another question here. Ryan wants to know player pool for 150. You were mentioning Xing out guys, not taking on unnecessary risk. How tight are these pools here?
Yeah, shout out to Ryan. I actually know Ryan. Ryan's the man's done some work with us. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like this is like a MME bro question. I kind of just let the projections work themselves out. I'm not like limiting my player pool to a certain number of guys. I'll X out guys I think are bad plays and then increase the volatility, set a couple rules and run it. I don't know. Brian probably has a better answer than me for this.
I mean, yeah, we've talked about it a bunch of times. I'm a slave to the sim, so I just copy paste whatever it says I put in there. But like, if you had the example I always give is the DFS gods came down and gave you like the perfect, 150 to enter, you could easily have like 1% of a guy or just 1 out of 150 there. But if you're doing it by hand or you're messing with some sort of optimizer, randomness or groups and stuff like that, you probably want to X out those. Like if you have like a guy's, let's say 15% owned, you only have one of them, just get rid of them because there's so many combos you're playing against there. It's probably not worth it unless you have like perfect information or a perfect process, which I guess none of us have. But yeah, for me personally, I just run it. And if there's one lineup of the guy who's 15% owned, I leave it because I'm assuming what I'm doing is good, but it might not be, but that's what I do. Got it.
Yeah. And Adam, you wrote an article, I believe it's free. Yeah. Up here on ETR about contest selection. What's the TLDR for people? Looks like you did some for if you have 100 in play and 500 in play, or some contests you identified that you think would be good.
Yeah, I mean, I basically use the same stuff that I use for NFL. People love this article. I don't really understand why. Like, it's not like complicated, but I guess people don't really like think through it. Like, I'm suggesting to people, if you're playing only $100 or only $500, like you should, all your money to me should be in single entry, should be in smaller field stuff. Like if I was only playing 100, like I don't know. And I was trying to win. Like I tried to make that point in the intro. Like this is for people actually trying to win, not people just trying to have fun. If you're just trying to have fun, play the Millie Maker. If you're trying to actually win, I think the 3 max is single entry, playing some cash stuff. Like that's just like a better way to give yourself a chance to win. And to me, winning is fun, but I get for some people just like the prayer that they turn 20 into $1 million is fun also. It's not for me. I'm just such a sick fuck that like the prayer of turning 20 into $1 million is like not fun for me at all.
Your contest selection probably different though for NFL than that. Like, are you maxing the millie for golf, but you don't max the millie for NFL, do you?
Oh, I don't even play the millie for NFL, yeah. But yeah, for golf, yeah, I'll probably max the millie. But yeah, I my point was more for the article was just like people who are looking to play smaller. You know what I mean? Looking to play 100 or $500 and have fun by giving yourself a chance to win.
Yeah, and I always max reg. They have all those 20 maxes that have pretty big prize pools. They're essentially the same lotto as the millie, but you can get 20 in there for $60 or $20 if you don't want to blast that out. Brian, do you have any favorite contests for this week?
No, I entered a lot of them.
How much, like if we get off this show and I go make some of my lineups, how at risk am I of needing to change things before they all tee off?
I don't think guys withdraw from the Masters at the same rate they would the Valero, right? So since I moved here, like the time change, I'm in Denver now, for those guys who don't know, the time change has been great for everything, NFL, NBA, except this golf thing. Like I'm waking up at like 4 in the fucking morning to make sure that no one got scratched. I think for the Masters, it'll be fine. Like I'll be up to make sure, but I think for the Masters, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Weather, maybe, probably not. The weather's tough in golf, like, because there can be a huge edge, but I don't think this weather looks as extreme enough to give that edge. And it's kind of like bad on both days a little bit. But like, what if you're wrong? Like, what if the weather comes in 2 hours late, or if they postpone or delay for a couple hours or 1 hour? Who knows? Lightning.
That was a story at the Players. Everybody thought that they had the nut weather wave, and it turned out that when the tournament got like canceled for most of Thursday and Friday, it actually turned out that like the wave that people didn't think was better actually turned out to be better. So like you don't know. It doesn't look like they're going to cancel any golf here at the Masters, but like, you don't know if they cancel golf, everything gets messed up,
Yeah, that's the classic DFS bro out leveling thing where it feels like you have a piece of inside information that you're acting on that the field won't, but it's actually everyone in mass acting on the same information because it's so widely spread at this point.
Yeah. All you have to do is go to weather.com and type in Augusta, Georgia, and you're good. It's like, it's not rocket science.
All right. The people are getting restless. They want to get into the pure touts here.
God. We're really touting golf. I came on here to make fun of Mans and Brian and talk about my dick and stuff. And now we're talking about the best 9K play.
Here's the thing. Actually, I did want to ask you, I teased this in the cold open because on the show, Brian has rallied against grown men who wear jerseys. And some people were talking about in the Discord, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I've in the flesh seen Levitan wearing basketball jerseys. So give us your take on grown men wearing jerseys. Yeah,
I think current players is a bit embarrassing. Like these kids that are like 20 years younger than me. Do I really need like a Joe Burrow? I actually have a Joe Burrow jersey on my wall.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
That's a whole other story. But yeah, I have like I actively wear my Jamal Mashburn Mavs jersey. I have a Kerry Kittles Nets jersey. I have a Tom Gugliotta Bullets jersey. I have a Larry Johnson Hornets jersey. I actively wear all those because I think they're just like awesome. But I would not wear like a fucking Kristaps Porzingis Wizards jersey. You know what I mean?
Checking the ages on these gentlemen.
There was
borderline.
I'll actually pull this up. Someone had posted this in the Discord.
Larry Johnson's 53.
Here you go. This was a good this is a stand-up comic, Drew Michael here.
You're not on the team. It doesn't matter. Like when you care that much about something that's not you, Like, if you care that much about Star Wars, you're a dork. Everyone calls you a dork. Why don't we call them sports dorks? They do the same shit as a Star Wars dork. They'll go to the game dressed up like the people that they're going to watch. How is that different than a Jar Jar Binks costume? It's not. It's the same. To walk into a place like, hey, look at me, I'm Soriano. I said, no, you're not. You're somebody who gave up on life like 12 years ago and now living vicariously through this dude who's richer than you and you're wearing his work clothes. That's weird.
It's my bit.
I know he took your bit and turned it into a very nice.
Well, my bit that I gave on the solo pod that everyone got so upset about was like, I was just like, I don't understand fans at all. Like, and like people got so upset at me. I mean, this was one of the, and I've said a lot of crazy shit on the solo podcast. This was the one that actually got the people most riled up. I was like, I don't understand how you can just like root for a team. Like, who gives a shit if the Cubs win or if the Indianapolis Colts win? Like, who cares? And people got really upset about that.
Yeah. I feel 100% the same way. I mean, like if you're under 18, okay, be a fan. You're a kid. Over 18, you're pushing it. 18's pushing it.
Well, it is interesting because I do think for the most part, like all of us, like DFS has ruined traditional fandom. But to your point, I think there's a lot of people who are still closeted, like diehard tribalistic fans, and they're somehow able to compartmentalize their DFS play with the laundry they root for. But yeah, anytime I've floated those takes too, people get very angry. Even though it's hard for me to wrap my head around at this point.
Yeah, it was fun growing up. And like me and my friends, like we cared so much about the Bullets and the Redskins and the Capitals and the Orioles. We went to all the games. We watched all the games together. And like, that was legit fun. It's just, I don't know. It's like, I didn't really care that much. I thought that it was fun to just like root for something with other people and like argue about what trades they should make and stuff. I mean, that was fun, now whatever.
Are you, along with DFS, did you make a lot of outrights, T10s, T5s, that kind of stuff for the Masters?
I didn't because we don't get Rufus. Part of the deal was we don't get Rufus stuff till Wednesday morning. And like for me to suggest that like I know what's a good price at top 20 is like absurd. So no, I didn't make any bets. Gotcha.
So he's keeping the kind of the bet portion, so he can, and then the main thing that he's lending you guys is the model for DFS.
He's still betting. Yep. He's still betting. Yep.
Gotcha. What about you, Brian? Do you splash around with any of that? Do you use your model and sims for any golf outrights?
I haven't done my PGA. I haven't updated that in like 6 months. And I mean, now this kind of throws a wrench in my process, honestly, but like, so I'd come up with my own numbers and then I would go through like specific odds I'd be looking for, like matchups and on certain books, and basically try to copy whatever Rufus is doing and whatever is moving. And because the outrights are one-way lines, right? So you can't bet the other side down. So they're not super sharp, but you could kind of do some tricks to figure out what he's doing kind of, and get your numbers more accurate, like directionally accurate. Because, as long as I have this guy over this guy, it depends. I guess it doesn't really matter anymore, but like depends on how you do your simulation. But as long as I get it like close enough, that's fine, and I'll be different than the field. But now, that he releases them here, I'm not sure how much value will be left in that process.
I still think that and he agrees that the betting stuff is going to be fine. I mean, he bets Monday, Tuesday, right. And so and we're not putting anything out until Wednesday. So I still think, Monday, Tuesday will be fine for people who want to bet. And he obviously thinks so,
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't a huge PGA sports bettor anyways, but yeah, I've dabbled with it a little bit.
Yeah. Yes. A couple other people had been asking questions earlier about in the millymaker being unique, leaving, salary on the table. Obviously the don't dupe me, bro concerns aren't as great in golf, but is there still some consideration to how unique you're being beyond, typical cumulative ownership type stuff?
Well, I don't, Adam, why don't you try to answer that while I look up last year's millymaker. We'll look at the dudes.
Okay, here we go.
I think that as long as you're being mindful of your cumulative ownership, that you're not as likely as people think to run into dupes. The Masters are a little bit different because the field is so small and there's so many guys that are drawing dead. So maybe for the Masters, I could see more dupes, but for a normal full field tournament, I don't really worry about dupes too much. I'm willing to go up to the full 50K. I do think that like in some of these events, like last week, you know, like not filling out your whole salary on purpose, like not because you're trying to be unique, but because that could legit be the best team, is to like only spend, you know, 99 or 99.5% of your cap. Like I think that's definitely a thought.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, when you look at like even the top 20 golfers, I mean, there's only 3 guys I'm seeing projected for under 10%. So, I mean, that's still like a decent amount of combos of guys that are going to be used.
But that's just why the Masters sucks. Like normally, like in a 144 person field, like you'll have like a ton of guys in single digit ownership that at the top end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the poll quote for the show. That's why the Masters sucks. Brian, did you get this pulled up?
Nah, I can't find it.
Well, I'll let you keep looking. So, Adam, give people what is included in the ETR package. 600 buckos. What is it getting me?
So you get in the projection table, you get base projection, you get ceiling projection, you get odds to the cut. Those are all from Rufus. Then we're doing projected ownership and the value column, obviously. And then we're doing a show weekly with me and Peter, CSU Ram 88. Rufus is going to join as often as he can. And obviously we have the other stuff that we normally have, like top plays and the injury report and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, you know, I get people think that or understand that it's certainly a lot of money. You know, it wasn't going to happen with Rufus without it. You know, so yeah, but and I actually think that for the full year, and having to make that make cut odds, I think it makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, it's tough too, right? I mean, Brian always talks about this too with, you know, giving information out. He's always most concerned to, you know, the 0.01% people who could turn into a monster if equipped with that information, where it's like it's hard for the casual person to justify that, but you also don't want just all these pros and sharks having access to it for essentially for free.
So this is a huge problem with the prop stuff, because like, you know, there's a few guys in props that have a huge syndicate, and I'm sure they're betting 10, 20, 50K a prop somehow. Like I wish I was them and I could find a way to bet that much. But yeah, you know, there's a few guys in there and they're obviously like moving the market massively for all the guys that are trying to bet 25 or 50 bucks, you know? So yeah, it's an issue for sure. I mean, I mean, we know that there's just like big syndicates that are in here betting this stuff for sure.
Yeah, there definitely is. I know of one that talked to me about my props. I did find the info.
Okay. You want to screen share?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I don't think I can.
You got some.
I don't want to upset
on your desktop.
Fantasy Cruncher because it's their data. So,
all right, just tell us.
Although Dave is a reasonable man, I'm just not going to take that chance. The top 3 lineups weren't duped.
Okay,
and they all had under 50K. That does not matter. I mean, a ton, but they were just 300 under, 200 under, and 400 under. Mm-hmm. The salary cap, and then after that there were some dupes. So there were a 5-man dupe, 4-man dupe, 2-man dupe. The highest duped lineup, and this field's so big it takes a second. Well, there was a lot of lineups that were just completely dead. It was 1,500. And so a millymaker, like I don't know, US Open or something like that, the field's so big, you don't have to worry about dupes nearly as much as you do in the Masters. After 1,500, we dropped down to about in the 200 range. And so the 200 range, what are we looking? I mean, that sounds like F1, Pete. We're not F1 thought leaders, but from what we've been looking at, 200 seems like kind of the top there. That's like a really large field. MMA will be in that range sometimes, 200, 300, 400. I mean, if that helps anybody for the process of duping. But it sucks with PGA because you don't need to worry about it like the vast majority of the time. So I've never built a PGA dupe model.
Well, it's kind of a mind fuck, right? Because you don't have to worry about dupes, but you don't want to be sharing the same 3 players with, 20% of the field either, right? Like you want to be able to have different paths to being unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, for this, like, I'm sure like one of the most common combos is going to be like Rahm and Matt Fitzpatrick, or like, Justin Thomas and Matt Fitzpatrick or something like that. Like,
Mhm.
those are gonna be like super common. So if you want to think about combos like that, I can get behind that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go crazy though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like here's an example. Sorry, Pete, to cut you off. 49.6 salary, 153 dupes. Right. This guy just entered. Oh wow, a couple guys just entered 150, just dummy lineups.
In the Masters last year.
Yeah, and it's not RBX 88 this time.
Empire Maker getting a little wild on a
No, I
Wednesday
didn't
night.
recognize the names. But like, I'm just scrolling down here through the dupes in the 100s now. All 50,000, 49.9, and then another 49.6. So I mean, 49.8 still in the hundreds. But if you go like 49, I really don't like capping. I don't even want to suggest it. Like, I really don't like capping salary to avoid dupes specifically in the PGA. Like, you could just do a little bit of effort, just something like Adam just said. We just don't do a Rahm, Fitzpatrick, team, and you're going to have, or 100 off and a little bit lower salary or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and I ran a bunch of lineups earlier, and like the top 10 or 15 are all using 50,000 or 49.9. They all have somewhere from 75 to even over 100 cumulative ownership. And then if you start looking, like, it's not that hard to build lineups that are in like the 50 cumulative range without sacrificing a ton of projected points. So it's like, it doesn't seem like it's that hard to get unique with some of this PGA stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Just get rid of them. So if you're going to enter 150, make like 300 and get rid of the top 100 obvious ones that are going to get, something like that. That might be a little too much, but something along those lines. Just get rid of those obvious ones for sure. But I wouldn't be too crazy, but it is the Masters. It's a small field, and a lot of the guys are dead. They're just not going to make the cut. So.
Yeah. All right, Adam, I'm seeing here. All right, top 5 most popular plays. I'm seeing Justin Thomas, Cameron Smith, Corey Connors, John Rahm, Matt Fitzpatrick. What's the good chalk there, and what's the bad chalk?
Oh, I think Rahm. I mean, Rahm has not putted well, but man, he's just like so clearly the best player to me, and he's been like so good at the Masters. I don't see how it's not Rahm as the best play, and it's relatively easy to fit him, and that's why I think like a lot of the Rahm. Woodland, Rahm, Fitzpatrick stuff, Rahm, Siwoo is going to be like really popular.
That's what I have. I'm still going, over double the field on Rahm. I always have a lot of Rahm lately, so you've been getting burned if you've been doing Rahm lately. He's probably a couple clicks lower owned than he should be. Like in my Sims, like I have him at like 24%. And everyone, I'm assuming, is 4% on it. What do I have him at?
You have at
21.2.
Yeah.
And are we giving out ETR's ownership on some of these guys?
Yeah, we have Rahm 22.6.
22.6. Yeah. So like he probably should be like 24 in my book, maybe 25. So even though he's still over 20, I'm going like 45%.
That's heavy.
He's a stud, man. He's the best golfer.
Adam, do you think you'll have anyone over 40%?
Probably. You're asking me these MME bro questions, man.
You just told me you were a PGA MME bro.
I know, man. But like, I don't. Yeah. The way that Dink and Brian and these guys think about MME is just like, at a way more advanced level than I think about it. I still consider myself a hand builder at heart.
Yeah, that's right. You're like Mark. You ignore the projections. You get out your pen and paper and you start manually tabulating 150 lineups.
I make my lineups actually with a notebook and a pen. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
We got to get back to our roots here. What about you, Brian? Anyone else up there in that high end? If you're so heavy on Rahm, I assume that means you're not going to have much. Rory, Dustin Johnson.
I'm even with the field on a lot of those guys. So like Thomas, I have 20%. Rory, I have let's see here. What is his ownership, like 17? I can't remember.
We have We have Rory for 15.6 ownership, and we have Thomas for 22.8.
Okay, yeah, so close. 20 for me for Thomas, 17 for Rory. Like my exposures. What do I have those guys owned at?
Look at
Thomas.
this.
I'm at 25.5% Thomas. So
Okay.
I'm getting him. I have him projected pretty highly on.
All right. Tyler, now you cracked the door open to the Sims, Brian, and now Tyler's going to try to kick it open. He wants to know where Victor Hovland is in the Sims.
Oh, that's behind the paywall side. No, no, I think I'm kind of low on him. Let me see here.
Yeah, you have him projected for 11%. What do you guys have him at? Adam?
Yeah, we have Hovland 11.4% owned, but we have him as a pretty good play. We have 68.7 DraftKings points on him, which is strong. I mean, we have Hovland for more than Cantlay. Let's put it that way.
Ooh.
I'm slightly under the field. I have 8%.
Okay.
I like to call him Big Dick Vic, by the way.
Really? Is there is it just a beautiful rhyme, or is there some, locker room story with that?
No, I don't have a locker room story, but I do think he's awesome. I like Big Dick Vic.
There you go.
I do have 19% Cantlay, so
yeah.
Okay.
I like Cantlay.
Yeah, we have Cantlay. Cantlay is really good. Let me see what we have. Oh, we have Cantlay for 16% ownership, but we have him for 67.1 points, which is just a tick below Hovland. But he is cheaper. I mean, Cantlay is 9,500 on DraftKings.
What do you guys think of Tyrell Hatton? He looked good to me from like a projection ownership perspective.
Yeah, we have a massive Hatton projection. We have Hatton for 61 DraftKings points at 12% ownership, like one of the best values on the slate for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, like 7th best value on the slate. One thing Rufus brought up today was like Hatton can tilt his fucking face off. Like if Hatton hits like a bad shot, he could have like 3 bad holes in a row, and so but if he gets it going, he's certainly good.
Actually, Adam, that reminds me, I don't know if you caught probably not the tail end of Club Top Shot last night, but we did a lot in thanks for what Jennings would shoot at Augusta if he drank 10 beers 2 hours before he teed off.
Well, I mean,
that's a lot of beers in 2 hours.
Seriously, and why do you have to include that? I mean, from what I can tell, Augusta is so hard that like really good golfers shoot in the hundreds.
Well, here's the thing. Peter, first of all, said actually Augusta isn't that hard.
Okay.
Then he said he would shoot a 115 there, and then we pinned him on it. And he was like, yeah, I actually didn't factor in the alcohol at all. I'd probably shoot a 150. It was like, yeah, the alcohol is a big part of it.
I mean, I get people don't think that Augusta's hard because like you can hit it, like you can drive it anywhere, right? Like there's no like rough and trees and stuff like that, or not as much. But I don't know, man. The greens just seem so hard. I couldn't even imagine making a putt.
Is Peter and Co trying to turn you into a IRL golf bro out there in Colorado?
I'm staving that off. I mean, if I have 5 free hours, which I never, if I have 5 free minutes, let alone 5 free hours, there's no fucking way I'm gonna go out there and tilt my face off playing golf. There's just no way.
Not to mention that Pete's trying to get you to gamble on it too, and he's getting it in good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm focused on my tennis game right now. I have like an actual legit, like very high stakes tennis match coming up. So I've been playing 2 or 3 times a week.
Is this the rematch with the guy that got you the first time?
Yeah. He got me the first time, and the next time I saw him, he was talking so much shit. I was like, "Fine, give me 10-1." He was like, "Okay, booked." So
holy cow. That sounds like a good motivation for you to train.
Yeah, it's good. I love playing. Yeah.
So have you been working with a trainer?
Yeah. So just like a fan like reached out. He was like a college tennis coach, and yeah, he lives out here. So yeah,
game's in good shape then.
We're getting there, The vasectomy kind of put a damper in my training because my balls were hurting so bad that I couldn't really train. So, but hopefully we're back.
Did the guy know about the vasectomy when he agreed to 10-1? Was that part of his thesis?
I don't think so.
Does a vasectomy change like your draft strategy in football, like a low T to a high T thing or anything like that?
Oh,
feel like you don't like running backs anymore?
I never liked running backs, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. The funniest part of it is like a few people have asked me the same question. They're like, so where does it go? Right? Because like I get that, like, because like it's still like when you come, like shit still comes out, right? But like where because they don't kill the sperm, they just kill like the tube that the sperm goes through to come out. But like, where does it go? And like, I asked the doctor, and he was like, "Yeah, don't worry. You know, your body just absorbs it." I was like, "All right, man." You know, it's a wild thing.
It was like
got to go somewhere.
It seems like those were the questions you'd actually want answered, and instead it sounded like he just wanted to talk to you about the Denver wide receivers.
Yeah, it was an outrageous. I hope he didn't listen, because he's a really nice guy. I wasn't trying to give him a hard time, and I'm probably gonna have to go back. But yeah.
Was he aware of the podcast?
I don't think so. I mean,
that was like one of my favorite comedians, Chris Gethard, did a whole stand-up show, and a lot of it was about some conversations he had with his therapist, and he was kind of painting her in a silly light. She's like front row at the first show, and it's like, I can't imagine how painful that would be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, and now like I actually found out maybe like 8 months ago that my dad has been listening to the solo pods, and like, yeah, that was a whole other thing too. So yeah, I don't know. And my kids are like searching for it on YouTube. It's a whole thing. This whole solo pod thing might have to be done soon. Yeah. I don't know.
Solo pod after dark. It's the one time you bring the solo pod behind a paywall just so your kids can't see it. All right. Rick asking an interesting question here. As a golf noob, who are some of the absolutely dead golfers this week? There's a lot of boomers in the field.
There's guys who are like, I'm not exaggerating, like 70, 75 years old. Sandy Lyle, Larry Mize, Jose Maria Olazabal, Vijay Singh, Mike Weir, Fred Couples, Bernhard Lager,
Tiger Woods,
Patty Harrington. Yeah, I mean, those guys are for sure dead. And there's some guys I've never heard of that are probably dead too. Aaron Jarvis, Laird Shepard, James Piot. I don't know. That's the thing that's shitty, man. Like 90 people in the field, 20 are dead, 50 make the cut. It's like a WGC event, you know, one of these no cut events.
Yeah. Yeah. It does feel good though, getting a lot of your golfers through, because that rarely happens. So no, I did good.
That's the best reason. The best reason to 150 in golf is that you guarantee yourself some 6 of 6s, just because like it feels so bad to get no 6 of 6s on the slate.
It's definitely not a guarantee, I'll tell you. Unfortunately.
What about on the other side, like dumpster diving, sub 7K guys that you like? Because to me, it seems like the biggest consideration for sub 7K, and similar to any DFS sport, you don't want to eat super cheap chalk when they have a high chance of failing. So any guys you like way down there?
I don't know if he's going to be chalk, but I think Gary Woodland at 6,900 is like probably my favorite cheap play. We have him for 11%. I don't know what Brian has him for, but I feel like if he's 11%, I'd want to be way over on Gary Woodland, but I don't feel great about I think if anything, our ownership prediction there is too low. And then I'm sure people are going to be on Siwoo also. We have Siwoo for 16%. He's 7,100.
Yeah, I have 30% exposure to Woodland, so I agree with that. I have him projected like 11.1 ownership, but like the guy probably who's lowest owned down there in that race that them over the field on is Eric Van Ruin your lineups. So
what's he priced at?
He's 67.
Yeah. 67. Okay. And so you're trying to reverse mush him with that nickname?
Yeah, well, yeah, that or Eric Van Ruin your day. One of the two. Either one works.
There you go. You have it teed up when it hits. All right.
I tweeted that out like 6 months ago, so it's a recycled joke.
Yeah, just go ahead and retweet your own tweet. You know, it always works to get it back in the circulation. Before we build a lineup, Max wants to go to Adam for life advice, maybe fresh off of his conversation with Ashley Jennings. He says, what should I do for my girlfriend's B-Day, which is today? Can I just give her cash? If I buy something, it will probably just get returned because I didn't get a good deal. Can you imagine giving your girlfriend cash?
What a ridiculous question, Max.
What should Max do?
Ashley is like, this is like Ashley. She wants this to be her thing. Like she wants to help guys give girls gifts. So I would honestly tweet at her because she'll respond. My advice on gift giving is always like experiences rather than things. You know, like take her to a concert or take her to. I told the story in the solo pod, but one time for Valentine's Day, I found some like aphrodisiac dinner. So like you go to this dinner and you sit down and they're feeding you like fucking, you know, like clams and like talking about vaginas and stuff like that. And like, eggplant and like all this like phallic stuff. And that was a cool experience, So I always think experience is better than the actual gift.
Max, why don't you load $100 into our DraftKings account? You guys sit down and you guys each together build a lineup.
That's an experience.
Yeah.
Tell her you just bought the new ETR golf projection for it. You can split them though. It was too expensive. So
that was always like growing up, when I feel like my brother used to always do this when he was little, where he'd just like give you the gift that he wanted. Like he'd give me DVDs that he wanted. I'm like, I didn't even want these. I think that's the play. You get the ETR golf sub.
You could give her the money first as a bit, see how she reacts, and then have a real gift from behind.
Just a little note. Don't spend this all in one place.
Like what? What?
Yeah. See how that goes. All right. As is tradition on this show, when we do a golf show, we build a lineup. We have to get Adam's GPP cash shell, revealed here. So this one's on me, boys. $15 millymaker. We'll split this 3 ways. But Adam, you have to be prepared. A move that Brian sometimes does on here is he's like very withholding of what, like he wouldn't want to put John Rahm in this lineup because he'd be worried about mushing his real 150 set. And so I have to fall on the sword with my lineup here.
That's a good point. By the way, while I was here, I meant to ask you what's going on with Mans. Have you like killed him yet? Or like, I know we talked about this last time I saw you on the show, but I feel like a great bit would be like doing a huge YouTube video, like a scripted one where you actually kill Mans.
I mean, trust me, I thought about it, but if I would have killed Mans, would he have been able to come back for an NFT rug pull, Adam? So, no, there, Mans, he's chilling. He's chilling. Lots going on. He's a busy guy. He's kind of Tom Dwan-ish. Yeah.
If you are planning on killing him, you got to tell me first so I can buy some of the Mans Coin NFTs.
Yeah, that's what it's going
skyrocket.
Yeah. That reminds me, Adam, did I tell you I got big time by Tom Dwan at a party at Jeremy's party in LA for the Super Bowl weekend?
No.
Yeah, he was at the same party. I was like, no fucking way. He was walking back out and I was like, I'll just say hi to Tom, just like a real quick thing. And he's like, actually, I got to go do something outside. Just like walked right by me.
But didn't he also screw you? Because like, it wasn't BA going to hook you up with him in Vegas when we were there?
Yeah, that was when we were out for Gambling Olympics and BA's like, oh, I'm having lunch with Dwan at some hotel. He's like, you want to come over here? I was like, yeah. And I'm like getting in the cab to come over. And he's like, actually, I think Tom got spooked and he bailed.
Yeah, he's scared of you, dude. You're like a freak, one of these freaks. He's scared of you.
I know. I thought I presented as a fairly normal person, but I guess I wasn't a hot chick.
By the way, I got it. I'm sure Brian doesn't know this story. Brian, do you realize that Pete punted off 16 Ethereum for bit equity? Are you familiar with this story?
I don't think so.
So when we were selling the punk, I was like, oh, if we want to list it, that's cool. We should list it for 185. And Overzet goes, no. We got to list it for 169.42. And of course, it turned out it snap sells. Later sells.
It did snap sell. It was a couple weeks.
And of course, it goes for a zillion later. I mean, obviously, we would have gotten the 185. I mean, 16. What's 16 Ethereum when you can make a joke about 169.420? How rich is this guy that he's just punting off 16 Ethereum for a fucking bit?
It was such a good joke. He didn't even mention it on the show. Yeah.
I mean, true to form. I mean, the only reason I went in on the punk was for a bit anyways. So, I mean, the entire punk has been a bit down to Pete tax harvesting one without telling us. All right. Let's build a fucking lineup to close this out. Adam,
at least you convinced them to get into the punks, man. I'm just sitting here holding this Top Shot bag.
Oh, no.
I know. Brian and I should have gotten in on a punk instead of a fucking Jokic Cosmic. Dude's going to win back-to-back MVPs and the thing hasn't budged.
We like sports. All right.
All right, Adam, who's he going to be?
So I think like the most common like construction build is going to be stars and scrubs, like for sure. And so I'll start with a balanced guy I really like. I think Sam Burns at 8,600. We have him for 12% ownership. I could see him coming lower than that. Like Sam Burns is like legit very, very, very good at golf. And like, I don't think it's crazy to think he can win at 8,600. So like, if we're trying to do a balanced build, I think Sam Burns is a good place to start.
All right, Brian, Are you on board for a balanced build here?
Yeah. How about so in that range, I like Webb Simpson and Joaquin Neiman. I don't know their salaries. Can you scroll down?
Yeah.
I don't know them off the top of my head.
Are you familiar with the Tiger Woods Neiman narrative, Brian? That Neiman, as a young 23-year-old, he's playing with Tiger. He's going to be so overwhelmed by the spotlight that he's going to shit his pants and not play well.
I haven't heard that narrative. No, I could. He's my guy though, Neiman. Let's see. That
Adam,
now I'm scared.
Are there more narrative streets in NFL DFS or PGA DFS?
I'm sure there's good ones in PGA. As we move along, I'm sure I'll find some more. You know, the Dustin Johnson, I was fucking Paulina last night and didn't show up for the tournament narrative, stuff like that. I'm sure we'll find some.
All right, Brian.
Let's do Neiman. All
right, Neiman. We're gonna debunk.
Tiger's gonna withdraw mid-round.
I already threw out this guy that I thought looked pretty good to me, and we're going the balance build. So I'll go Hatton here as well. Back to Adam.
Brian, what do you think about Spieth's ownership? Because like everybody who just like casually follows the Masters knows that Spieth has like the most outrageous course history. Rufus obviously has that like baked in. Like he says significantly, like he has Spieth projected way over his baseline thanks to course history. But we still don't have him as like a standout, absolutely fantastic play. We have him as a very, very good play, but not like absolutely through the roof. And we only have 11% ownership on him. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I had like 10% ownership, and I'm slightly over.
Okay,
13% my exposure.
Yeah. If he's going to come in 10 or 11, I think Spieth is a play for sure.
All right, let's do
it. I'm playing him.
So that leaves us 7,700 for our last two spots. Brian, anyone you're liking down in this?
Well, then Webb makes sense. I could get both of them in there, and he was like 7 something, right? Yeah, 75.
And then that leaves me with 7,900.
Answers hurt.
Our best play there is Henley at 7,800.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right,
Fitzpatrick's going to be the higher owned one.
Yeah, we have Fitzpatrick 18% owned and Henley 14%, but I could see Fitzpatrick getting higher. And if you want to be a man and put this in something higher stakes and smaller field, I would definitely go Henley over Fitzpatrick.
Okay, will you, Adam, tell the audience, and sometimes you have to really beg not to dupe us, bro.
Is this in the millie?
Yeah, this is going in the millie.
Yeah.
So you have to do some big begging because our equity will go down if anyone's tailing this.
Do you look through the CSV after the contest locks and identify the people who duped you and go find them?
Yeah, and then I block them from the YouTube channel and I hunt them down. Clay, I'm telling you, do not dupe us. Just let us have a little fun. We try to do one nice thing for you, and then I'm going to have to go stare at this lineup all week with a 26 lineup train on it. I mean, come on. Adam, thank you for swinging by today to reveal your cash shell for the Masters. Definitely check out ETR's new golf product. They got the pod up today with Rufus and CSU Rammies. Anything else I'm forgetting, Adam?
No, man. Honored to be here. Thanks, guys. Keep crushing on the show. And yeah, I assume you'll be working on your USFL cash game shell here shortly.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be cooking. I mean, it seems you guys are going to roll something out here, right, Cody? I mean,
Cody's
that's what
in
you
charge.
hired him to do.
Cody's in charge, and he's incredible. And yeah, we'll be on it for sure. I feel like there's not as much buzz for USFL as there was for XFL. I feel like legit Vince McMahon and like The Rock and shit like that like help the XFL, but every single USFL game is on national television, either Fox, NBC. It's fucking crazy, man, how they get these TV deals. And so I think it'll actually be pretty popular just because it's on national TV.
Yeah. And they're going to have that. They're going to try to do the F1 playbook, get that documentary series rolling. So maybe that will, there you go, Max. That's you have her start watching the USFL documentary with you. And then it becomes a thing you guys can bond over every weekend. Let's see. Wow. Thank you at the Dynasty. Little tip here. Not even planning on playing fantasy golf, but it's been a while since I hung out with you live. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Brian, you have ownership up as well on bric75.com. Anything else on your end?
Cody reminds me, we have Cody on our show on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing our little 200th/100th anniversary show. Watching MMA. Got a bunch of bros coming. Alex is hopping on. Cody's hopping on. John Kelly's going to be our MMA guy. And then we're going to have Greg Ehrenberg and Adam Share My Money coming too. Pete, yeah?
Yep. So that'll be 9 p.m. I think we're going to go live pretty good UFC card. We're going to have some games, some giveaways, just have some drinks and shoot the shit. So that will be fun.
Yeah, we're giving away an Osmo sub. I think Alex said we could do something like that. I got some NFTs.
Some Top Shots you really throwing out?
You guys can just fucking have them. Oh, it's like I talked to my I got a Jokic Cosmic. You guys just take it. I talked to my accountant. They won't let me. What's it called? Write off that giveaway we did.
What? You need to find a new accountant.
No, trust me, these guys are fucking good. And they're like the best in Chicago, trust me. Yeah, they won't let me fucking write it off. It was like $4,500 too.
Goodness. Well, thank you for your service, Brian.
Wait, so now I'm not giving away Top Shot. Yeah, that's why.
He's only doing things for tax purposes. It sounds like he's doing nice, but
because I like you? No.
We're doing a little tax harvesting on Saturday. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out. We do this show every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Stream it on Brian's Twitch as well as here. Appreciate Adam swinging by. Check him out at ETR and the new golf product. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck this weekend.